if we learn to notice the nothing behind the something and the something hiding inside the nothing, the life stop feels like a simple yes or no, win or lose game. Hi everyone, today I want to talk about a line from Laozi that describes one of the highest states a person can reach in life and work. If we understand it earlier, it becomes a kind of effortless wisdom that guides everything we do. This line is, practice not doing and everything will fall into place. In this video, we'll look at this idea from 4 angles: our personal life, psychology, management, and philosophy. Let's start with personal experience. There are the moments when everything just happens. We sit down to work and suddenly we are in this smooth, quiet stage when effort doesn't feel like effort. It's the state of flow. For me, when it happens, I can write for 3 hours without any moving. But on a normal day, I cannot stay still for 30 minutes. In that state, time disappears. The sense of me disappears. We are focused, calm, and satisfied. Of course, the opposite is also true. When we start forcing things, overthinking, planning every step, worrying about every detail, we get stuck. We doubt ourselves. We chase our own thoughts in circles. Everything feels heavy. But here's the strange part. The moment we loosen our grip, even just a little, ideas suddenly show up. The path becomes clear again. And that's actually the kind of effortless action Laozi wanted to say. Psychology actually explains Laozi's ideas through something called Locus of Control. Basically, it is what's in our hands and what isn't in our hands. Take the writing example again. If I start my paper only a week before the deadline, every little surprise, a meeting, a bad day, a cold, suddenly becomes the huge external problem I cannot control. Of course, I get anxious. It feels like the world is working against me. But if I start 5 weeks earlier, those surprises do not feel like disasters anymore. They are just part of the plan. I allow them to happen. I only need to finish one small section each week. Time becomes my teammate instead of my enemy. And here's another real story. I once studied for an exam for 3 weeks. I used AI to generate hundreds of practice questions. I thought I was doing great until I tried an actual mock test. The difficulty was on a completely different level, and in that moment, I feel powerless. It was like the result was no longer up to me. At that time, I kept telling myself that AI could never create questions the way a real professional does, so I cannot do anything. But the crazy thing is, I still had 1 whole week left. I could have changed the struggles. I could have gone back to the textbooks and rebuilt everything. I just didn't see it. I trust something that was fully in my control. But when I see the truth, I can hardly go back. And that's why the exam score wasn't very good for me. Now, let's talk about something we really connect with Wu Wei, the leadership. In the business school, we learn a lot of management tools, and they are useful for sure. But the strange thing is, once we know all these techniques, we sometimes stop seeing the whole picture of an organization. We start noticing every flaw, every weakness, every inefficiency, and without realizing it, we pick up more and more responsibilities ourselves. We micromanage, we create complicated roles, we watch every detail, and in the process, we drain the whole system and we drain ourselves. But a great leader does something very different. They practice Wu Wei. They set the core principles. They give the team a clear direction. They put the right people in the right roles, and then they step back. They trust the struggle they built. They let the organization breathe and run on its own. When a company still works without the leader being there, it's real mastery. Of course, someone like Elon Musk can chase extreme efficiency, and it works for him. But it also comes with a cost. The real question is, what are we sacrificing? And are we willing to pay that price? To really understand what Laozi is saying, we need to look at something deeper, the unity of presence and absence, or what he called You and Wu. It sounds abstract, but it's one of the most beautiful ideas in the whole text. Think about a clay pot. We notice the clay, the part that exists. But the pot only works because of the empty space inside. The nothing is what makes it useful. Or look at the room we're sitting in. There's the roof, the floor, the walls, all important. But if we keep making them thicker and heavier, we will eventually end up with a giant block of dirt. A room is a room because of the open space in the middle. That's where life actually happens. That's what Laozi means. Profit comes from what is there. Usefulness from what is not there. Everything works like this. What seems to exist often hides what truly matters, and what seems to be missing sometimes gives us the most meaning. Let's talk about Musk again. He looks like one of the most successful people on earth. He has money and fame, but he lacks freedom, rest, family time, and health. Seems that many people consider the real essentials of life. And then there's me, a tiny little YouTuber who gets excited when a video hits just 10 views. On paper, I have no money and no fame, but I have the joy of learning, creating, sharing ideas. Such nothing is actually something incredible precious. This isn't about choosing between having or not having, but about how we see both sides. If we learn to notice the nothing behind the something and the something hiding inside the nothing, the life feels like a simple yes or no, win or lose game. It becomes richer, it becomes mysterious, it becomes fluid. This is a kind of life art, the emptiness of a seed turning into a full harvest, the presence of a flower fading into the quietness after it falls. The world keeps moving between what is there and what is not, and such movement is what keeps the world alive. Such is the heart of Laozi's wisdom, and the heart of not doing such leads everything fall into place. I'm Little Bamboo Ya. I want to share these ideas with you in my own voice. If you'd like to hear more about Chinese philosophy, subscribe and stay connected. See you next time.